Peace, beloved. Welcome back to yet another soil session with your movement midwife. Let's begin how all holy things should, slowly, with presence and with breath. I invite you to take a few deep breaths with me. Go ahead and inhale deep through your nose. Hold and exhale. Again, and when you inhale, feel your belly expand and your ribs widen. Hold. Exhale. Let your body soften, let your shoulders drop, and your mind begin to quiet. And one more at your own pace. That always feels good. All right, family. So today we are going to talk about some things that cannot be seen with the eyes, cannot be heard with the ears, and cannot be measured by any tool. Yet they govern every second of our lives. Energy, contracts, and covenants. These are the unseen threads that weave our lives together. They are the architecture that holds our destiny in place, whether we know it or not. Let's go ahead and begin with energy. First and foremost, everything moves and everything vibrates. Your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, your words, they all carry a frequency. They are not inert, they are alive. They ripple through the universe and they echo back to you. Energy is the pulse of life. It is the river beneath the visible river. It is the current that carries potential and consequence at the same time. And here is what most people never teach you. Your energy is not neutral. It is not personal property in isolation. It is relational. It belongs to you and it belongs to everyone and everything you touch. You hear me? Our ancestors knew this. When they built towns, when they planted fields or carried out rituals, they moved with energy in mind. They knew that speaking a word wrong, they knew that touching a vessel at the wrong time and eating a specific food out of season, it wasn't superstition, it was precision. It was honoring the currents that held the world steady. Energy moves like water. If you dam it, redirect it, or pollute it, everything downstream feels the effect. Your children feel it, your crops feel it, your community feels it. Now, let's layer contracts on top of that energy. Before you were born, your soul agreed to a blueprint. Some of it is your choosing, and some of it is ancestral. These are not metaphorical, they are tangible and they are real. There are agreements that say you will carry this gift, you will walk this path, you will protect this family line, you will hold this space for generations yet to come. Breaking a contract does not make you evil, it makes life feel like heavy. It misaligns your current and it introduces friction where there should be flow. And the most critical point is that contracts are not universal. They are lineage specific, they are path specific, and they are soul specific. What aligns with you may misalign another person, and what heals you may harm someone else if carried improperly. And I go depth about this in my video about taboos versus sin. And then there are covenants. If contracts are the blueprint, then covenants are the foundation. They are the promises. They are sacred, living, energetic promises that bind your lineage to your ancestors, to the Orisha, to the earth, and to the invisible forces that sustain life. A covenant is not abstract. It is a force. and it is a bond that channels protection, abundance, clarity, and flow. Breaking a covenant doesn't bring punishment from a God. It brings disruption to a system. It is the roof that leaks. It is the current that shorts. It is the family line that falters. It is the river that dries up. Repairing covenants restore rhythm, flow, and harmony. Now, here is where most of us have been misled. We have been told that covenants only look one way, like legal marriage, like rigid titles, like institutions that can't always hold the fullness of spirit. Too often, when we talk about covenants, people's mind runs straight to marriage, right? To rings and certificates, to legitimacy. Let me be clear. I honor marriage and I respect covenantal marriage. Marriage is honorable, yes, but it is not the only covenant. It is not the only form of sacred promise. Some covenants are about partnerships of destiny, not paperwork. Some people come together not for the institution of marriage, but because they're Ori and their ancestors agreed on a covenant to bring forth children, to restore a lineage, to plant seeds that the world desperately needs. Some covenants are about raising children. Some are about shared purpose. Some are about restoring a family line. Some are about stewarding land or ritual. These unions may not be recognized by the state, but they are bound in spirit, and they are just as real, just as binding, and they are just as deserving of respect. To shame certain unions as illegitimate is to misunderstand covenant itself. See, the world will shame you if you have a baby out of wedlock. But what if we stopped measuring family by paperwork and started measuring by covenant? Instead, what if we asked, is there agreement? Is there intention? Is there care? Is there accountability? Listen, our children do not need facades. They need rooted soil. They need adults who understand the gravity of the covenant that they have entered, whether or not it came with vows on an altar. And when those partnerships are honored as covenant, not accident, the children born of them are not mistakes. They are fulfillments and they are destiny embodied. We need to name this clearly. Collapsing the dignity of partnership into one cultural box called marriage imports shame into family making. It forces people to hide their arrangements. It forces people to lie about their homes or accept diluted care because it's not married. That is violent, that is colonial, and that is not ancestral. Our ancestors knew that covenants took many forms. It could be two people who come together intentionally to raise children and to hold family lines without a legal ring. It could be chosen kin who form a household covenant to protect a child, a business, or a lineage. It could be spiritual allies who bind themselves to a shared destiny, like to steward land together, ritual or cultural restoration together. These covenants are not less than. They are simply different forms of fidelity to children, to lineage, to purpose, to Ori. And when these covenants are lived honestly and tended, acknowledged by the community, named and ritualized, they channel protection and resources into that family line. However, when they are hidden, denied, or shamed, the current becomes contaminated. Secrecy breeds fear. Fear fractures care. And the soil for the children becomes unstable. Family, this is what we must remember. Covenants are not about appearances. They are not about social approval. They are about alignment and truth. They are about carrying forward the rhythm that has been associated to your lineage and to your soul. A covenant is about tending the current so that the next generation can flourish. If you honor it, you walk in flow. And if you ignore it, everything around you becomes wobbly. Imagine how life would shift if we built a culture that recognized covenantal partnerships that go beyond marriage, beyond shame, and beyond the narrow boxes of legitimacy. That is covenant. Not just the canopy over the forest, but canopy wide enough to shelter every form of sacred agreement that our people actually live. So hear this, mothers, fathers, my brothers and my sisters. You have not failed. Your covenant or your family arrangement, in whatever shape it takes, it is not displeasing to the divine. What displeases the divine is neglect, dishonor, and broken care. What displeases the divine is abandoning responsibility while pretending to wear the mask of legitimacy. But when you show up in truth, when you root your children in love, when you guard your household with intention, when you move in alignment with your Ori, that is covenant. That is legitimacy. That is sacred. We must detox ourselves from the lie that only the state or the church can validate what our ancestors already consecrated. Family is not formed in paperwork. Family is formed in spirit. And it is sealed in responsibility. And it is proven in how we tend the soil together. And when we expand our definition of covenantal family, we don't just free ourselves from shame, we create more protection for our children, more honor for our partnerships, and more alignment with the energetic laws our people have always known. Energy is relational, contracts are real, and covenant is the canopy that shelters life. This is the truth that we return to. This is the soil that we are restoring. This is the covenant we choose to honor. Let me give you a more concrete example. Suppose your lineage has a covenant with Ogun, the Orisha of iron, work, and transformation. The covenant requires that iron tools must be consecrated before use and that offerings must be given on specific days. If you ignore this covenant, you might injure yourself repeatedly and inexplicably. Projects may fail without clear reason. Opportunities may stall. The consequence is not moral punishment. It is a misalignment with the energetic law that has been established by the covenant. The river you are supposed to flow within has shifted, and your life reflects the imbalance until the repair work is done. This makes me reflect on the imbalances that persist across the African diaspora, especially within the African American community. Think about it. Many of our lineages were forcibly severed, generations of displacement, family structures disrupted, knowledge of spiritual and energetic agreements have been lost or hidden, sacred covenants broken before we even had a chance to uphold them, partnerships unacknowledged, agreements ignored, and energy flows misaligned. The result is communities where the soil feels unstable. Children grow up without rooted support, partnerships go misunderstood, struggle under unseen pressure, and cultural practices have been fractured and misunderstood. These misalignments are not personal failures. They are inherited echoes of systemic disruption, colonial interference, and lost lineage knowledge. The ripple effects of broken covenants manifest as confusion, instability, and disconnection from the rhythms that we were meant to honor. Restoring alignment is not just a personal spiritual exercise. It is ancestral grunt work. Honoring covenants, tending contracts, And stewarding energy reconnects us to the currents that were always meant to guide our lives. It rebuilds the soil, it strengthens the roots, and it ensures that the next generation grows within a network of care, clarity, and intentionality. This is why understanding and honoring energy contracts and covenants is not optional. It is restoration. It is survival and reclamation. Now imagine breaking a contract with your own Ori, the divine self within you. Ori is your ultimate energy contract. It is the personal blueprint of your life. You neglect it and life feels heavy. You ignore it and doors close. You follow it and the world opens naturally. Contracts and covenants together with energy form a system. They are relational, they are protective, and they are restorative. Think about it like a forest. Energy is the soil. It is rich, alive, and moving beneath everything, and it nourishes every root. And contracts are the roots of the trees. They anchor, they stretch, and they hold the forest together. They reach for the nutrients and the stability that the soil provides. And like I said, covenants are the canopy, the shelter, the stabilizing layer that protects the forest from storms. It preserves balance, and it ensures that life thrives below. If you disturb one part, the soil, the roots, or the canopy, the whole forest feels it. Trees will lean, growth will slow down, streams will dry up, and life will struggle. But here is the power that has always been and always will be. The forest is alive. It regenerates. It heals. With attention, care, ceremony, and mindful tending, it restores itself. And so can your life, your lineage, and your spirit. So I need you to hear this slowly and receive these words deeply. The world teaches us fear. It teaches us guilt. It teaches us punishment. It says do this or suffer forever. But in the system of our ancestors, misalignment is not punishment. Misalignment is repairable. Misalignment is a call. Misalignment is a teacher. Your life is never a trap. Your soul is never discarded. Your energy, your contracts, and your covenants are your inheritance. They are your tools and they are your power. Family, slow down and feel this. Energy, contracts, covenants. They are not separate. They are a single architecture. They hold your life together. They carry the protection, clarity, and abundance of generations. Honor them. Repair them when needed. Walk with awareness of their rhythm. This is your ancestral blueprint. This is how life flows when aligned. This is how your legacy endures. Deep breath in. Hold. Exhale slowly. Feel it settle into your soil. Feel your ancestors rooting you. Feel the current of your energy. Feel the strength of your contracts. Feel the stability of your covenants. This is not theory. It is living law. This is undeniable truth. Energy, contracts, and covenants. Walk in them, honor them, and restore them. Let that settle deep into your soil. Thank you for watching.